We don't see any cancer there, so we'll just pretend there's no cancer in your lymph nodes. Okay, part 7 of the crazy way that I found out I have cancer. So here is where you'll remember that I talked about the rock star technician who did my biopsy, who everyone at the biopsy procedure place talked about how lucky I was to have this woman do the biopsy on my breast and my lymph node. So you'll remember her and how lucky I was to have her. So my husband and I go into this breast surgeon's office, who agreed to see me only a few days later. And I felt very fortunate and happy to have this appointment so quickly. We go in, and immediately I fall in love with this woman. She just makes me feel very comfortable. She doesn't talk down to us. But she's explaining what she sees in this report. First, I say to her, listen, my mom called her doctor, and he said that it sounds like what I have is so small that it's going to be as easy as a haircut. It's going to be what he said was a lumpectomy, cut out this little tiny area, and we're done. Like, we cut out this area that may or may not be cancer, and then I don't have to think about it anymore. And what she said to me is, well, when there is just a tiny dot like that, and because of where I can see it is on you, we would typically be able to cut that out with a lumpectomy. And because of where it is, you probably won't even need any kind of reconstruction, because it's in an area where you may or may not even mind that there's just a tiny divot afterwards, probably. It won't be something in the middle where you're going to want to have reconstruction. You may or may not. You may be very lucky. And by the way, that's all we would need to do, because it says in the report that they took at the biopsy that no cancer is detected in the lymph nodes. So all that is detected is a little dot of cancer in the breast and no cancer in the lymph nodes. If that is the case, yes, this will be. She, as a woman, said, don't think it's going to be as easy as a haircut. But it will be the simpler procedure when taking care of breast cancer. However, although the report says no cancer is detected in the lymph nodes, it also says no lymph node detected. Let me pause for a moment and let you think about that. The report says no cancer is found in the lymph nodes, no lymph node detected. I'm not sure if those were the exact words. No lymph node sample detected. So do you remember the story when I said she was going in and I could see the needle going in and it kept missing what she was trying to take the sample of? And when I turned my head away, I heard a snap and she said, okay, got it. And I had this funny feeling that something didn't feel right. I should have, not that I knew what to do with it, but my instinct, my intuition told me that something didn't seem right. It's because she actually never got a sample of my lymph node. So the report said no cancer detected in the lymph nodes. We didn't actually sample the lymph nodes, though. So what they did was they sampled a section near the lymph node, near the suspicious-looking lymph node. We don't see any cancer there, so we'll just pretend there's no cancer in your lymph nodes. Now, let's think about this. Here is me and my husband. Here are we looking at a report to see if I have cancer. I see something in situ and no cancer detected. So I think it's a tiny thing and nothing to worry about. One thing to worry about and one nothing to worry about. Had I not gone to a doctor to ask, can you look at this, I would have just assumed I have no cancer in my lymph nodes. And she said, maybe you don't. But we never tested it. There was no test of the lymph node, so you can't say you have no cancer. There's still that suspicious looking lymph node, and we didn't get a sample of it. So before we go any further and decide that, yes, this is going to be a little tiny, don't worry about it procedure, let's go back and sample your lymph nodes. And while we're at it, let's take a whole bunch more samples, because now I don't trust this rock star biopsy technician. We're gonna have to start over again. So after all this anxiety and waiting, I'm actually back to square one to see if I even, we didn't even test the suspicious looking node, so we don't know how far, if this cancer is a tiny dot that will go away when we take it out, or if it actually has spread. We don't know. We're gonna start over. And she says, I'm gonna send you to another place and you're gonna have biopsies done the right way. So now we're gonna start over to determine if I have cancer and how far it's spread.